Hello, welcome to Web of Stories. My name is Melinda. Let me tell you about my morning. So I up this morning, put makeup on, daughter's homesick from school. I think it's allergies, but a little bit of a fever, so whatever. Got my son to school, and then I sat down and I did a video that's going to be posted. It is my big book of summer's pile of possibilities video. It's going to be posted later this month. And then I started watching some of the videos in my queue, and I came across one from Shelley Swearingen about Read Historical Fiction 2024 Readathon. And there has never been a Readathon that is more for me than this one. Like, I watched it, I printed off the prompts, I saved the bingo card, and I went up to my bookshelf, my 2BR bookshelves, and pulled out a bunch of possibilities. So obviously I am doing this challenge, and I'm limiting myself to books that I currently own or have purchased and not yet arrived, because that happened in a couple of these cases too. So this is a fantastic, I'm going to of course link Shelley's video down below. I am so excited for this readathon. I wasn't planning to I'm doing June on the Range, but I think June on the Range kind of fits with this too. I didn't even think to put my June on the Range books with this, so whatever. And I did like 15 minutes of like manic prep for this. So this is a pile of possibilities for this challenge for me, but please know, just on my shelves. And I'm limiting myself to books that I have at least paid, I own or have ordered and they haven't ordered before. Well, my no-buy ban. Ordered before that and haven't arrived yet, okay? So there's going to be a lot more than this, but this is what I came up off the top of my head. And this is to show you how easy it is to do this readathon. The first question is, read a work of historical fiction set in the country you're in. So I am in the United States. That is not hard to do that one. So I decided to make it a little bit harder. And I am doing a work of historical fiction set from the state I'm in, which is Oregon. And I am going to do The Hearts of Horses by Molly Gloss. This is a book that's been sitting on my Kindle, I think it's my Kindle, for years. So now I get to read it. It's about a horse trader, I believe. Let me see. I think I pulled this up. One second. Okay, so I pulled up, it's an ebook, so I can't just hold it up. Pulled up the synopsis. I'll read a little bit of this for you. In the winter of 1917, a big-boned woman shows up at George Bliss's doorstep. She's looking for a job breaking horses, and he hires her on. Many of his regular hands are off fighting the war, and he glimpses beneath her showy rodeo garb a shy but strong-willed girl with a serious knowledge of horses. So begins the irresistible tale of 19-year-old Martha Lesson, a female horse whisperer trying to make a go of it in a man's world. It was thought that the only way to break a horse was to buck the wild out of it, and broken ribs and tough falls just went the job. But over several long, hard winter months, many of the townsfolk in this remote county of eastern Oregon witnessed Martha's way of taking in low, sweet tones to horses believed beyond repair and getting miraculous, almost immediate results, and she thereby earns a place of respect in their community. There you go. So that's set in Oregon. That's what I'm going to do for the first challenge. Now, the second challenge is to read a work of historical fiction set in a different country from the one you're in. I'm not even going to give you possibilities of this book because I can't carry all the books down that I have of it. And unless most of the books I'm going to mention here would also work for this one. So challenge 3 is, read a work of historical fiction set in a new to you historical time period. This one was a little bit hard for me because I can't think of a time period I haven't read something from, but I came up with 2 options. And the first one is this book called Anagokaa by Cameron Alam. And it is set in Upper Canada in 1804. During her first bleak winter at the settlement of Baldoon, amidst staggering loss and hardship, 14-year-old Flora McCallum has a chance encounter with the son of a Chippewa chief. What begins by chance soon manifests into a furtive friendship. In his company, Flora's dark view of the new world undergoes a rebirth as she awakens to the truth of her own spirit. With the threat of discovery looming over every encounter, truth will come at a high price. So, yes, I have read books like frontier books, those sorts of things, but I haven't read one from Canada or about Canada. So that was kind of like where I got the new thing. Also works for June on the Range. The other one I have is another book that I have had for literal years. And it's even weirder is the fact that I love this author and I have not yet read this book. And many consider this to be one of her best books. And this is The Dovekeepers by Alice Hoffman. And this is about the siege of Masada in 70 CE, where the Jewish population like got up on top of the mountain and they were trying to fight off the Romans. And I've never read anything about that. So The Dovekeepers by Alice Hoffman. Also been on my Kindle for far too long. Okay, so those are just two options. There could be more. Okay. Option 4, read a work of historical fiction with a speculative or magical realistic element. So I have at least two. I'm going to show you two right now. This first one is Farthing by Jo Walton. So this is alternate, and I'm going to include alternate history in this one because I love alternate history when it's done well. And this is little worried about this one because the kind of alternate history that I like is where it's like one little thing, not one big thing. And the thing here is that the Nazis won World War II, and this is set in London in the 50s, early 50s, I think. But it's under Nazi rule. I've heard good things about this book. And the other one, which is a preview to my big book of summer, so I might be reading this one in June, is Ours by Phillip B. Williams. So this is about, there's a woman who, she annihilates plantations all over Arkansas to rescue the people enslaved there. And then she creates a sort of magical town called Ours where they can all go live, but no one can see them. Sounds really interesting. I heard about this from Brett, and it's also an indie press list book. So excited for that one. And I was planning to read it anyway for Big Book Summer. So 2 birds with 1 stone. Okay. Number 5, read a work of historical fiction from the perspective of an ordinary person. So this is another one that probably pretty much anything could work, but I pulled one off that I have kind of been meaning to read. This one sort of fits it. I think it fits it. And this is Freeland by Rose Wilder Lane. So if you've ever read any Little House on the Prairie books, yeah, she totally mined those and made novels out of them. She stole her mother's material is what she did. But this is one of her 2 novels. I read Let the Hurricanes Roar last year, which was Little House. Yeah, there are a lot of similarities there. I mean, the 2 main characters are called Charles and Caroline. This one, David Beaton and his bride. So at least she gave them different names, but they're just ordinary folk, homesteading in the Dakota Territory. Again, also June on the Range. So there you go. Freeland by Rose Wilder Lane. Can't get more ordinary than homesteaders, even if they did sort of kind of in a way end up having a TV show in the 70s about them. Okay. Read a work of historical fiction from the perspective of an extraordinary person. So I have 2 options for this one that I pulled off quickly. I probably have a lot more. The first one is, I have this pulled up here because these are both from my Kindle, maybe my Kobo. I think this one might be on my Kobo. I'll have to check. America's First Daughter by Stephanie Dray and Laura Kamoie. Now I have read they wrote a book about Eliza Hamilton, which was, just saying, that's what it was. It was Hamilton fanfic. But anyway, this is about Patsy Jefferson, who was Thomas Jefferson's surviving daughter. And she kind of operated sort of as first lady, did those sorts of roles for her father because, her mother had died and he's off getting it off with his slaves. So there. Yeah, so I'm interested in reading. I have read one other book about her by Sally I think it's called Monticello by Sally Cabot Gunning, who I love, who's a great author. And you'll probably see some of her books in June too, because I have some of hers I haven't read. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to be able to compare it to what I've read before. The other one is a book that has been on my Kindle for a long time, and this is Madame Tussaud by, I need to look this up again, by Michelle Moran. Michelle Moran has written a lot of historical fiction about sort of famous characters, not super famous, but like one step away from super famous. And Madame Tussaud kind of falls in with that. She was kind of in the same circle as Marie Antoinette. And of course we know that she made wax figures out of people. And this did kind of arise out of the French Revolution. I don't know if this is apocryphal or true or what, but I've heard the story that she took Marie Antoinette's head after it was and did all the measurements on it to do the wax figure of her. So it's apparently, if you see the Marie Antoinette wax figure in a Madame Tussauds, it's very accurate. But I've, again, had this book for a very long time on my Kindle, so let's get that one out there. Okay, number 7, read a work of historical fiction. There was a hard cut there because I just went off on a tangent. I don't even know where I went off on this tangent. But I am doing a book. I do not remember why I went off on this tangent now. Okay, so I showed you my mug from Suze Edge, but it was okay because he had a son and there's someone getting his head cut off because she always says that when she does her family trees. And Shelley, this was her same book for this prompt. And the reason that one, the Suze Edge thing, comes into it is because I first became aware of this because Suze Edge is reading it right now. Sadly, her mother recently died and this book was on her mother's bedside. And it's Dissolution by C.J. Samson. So this is a historical mystery set during the Tudor period. I have ordered it from Blackwell's. As I said, I think it's available in the US. I just added it onto an order. So I'm really looking forward to it. And, you know, anything that Suze Edge reads, I'm okay with because Suze Edge is cool. And I need to get one of her mugs that say, "Shall we dig up another dead body?" That's another thing she says. Okay, finally, last question. And this one has already been set. This one worked out perfectly. Read a classic work of historical fiction. I'm already planning to do on my Discord, so feel free to join us, a read along of O Pioneers by Willa Cather. So that's already been set. That one's ready to go. That's probably the one absolutely guaranteed one that I will do this month. I mean, yes, I plan to read ours. I can't completely guarantee it's going to be in June, but I will definitely do this. Okay, I am so excited about this readathon. Thank you, Shelley. Thank you. As you can tell, I'm kind of like, ah. Anyway, go check out Shelley's video. I would love to talk historical fiction with people. If you have any more suggestions for this, let me know down below. If you have any questions about historical fiction, historical fiction and mystery are my 2 genres. So there you go. And I cannot wait. So thank you, Shelley. And yeah, can't wait. Like, subscribe, join my Discord, especially if you want to read O Pioneers with us. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.